A little rebound in the afternoon, a blistering 44 tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, something to get used to. Yeah. Thank you, Ron. Thank you for being with us.
CBS Evening News straight ahead. We'll see you at 6.
The president does an end run around Congress to restrict gun sales. Also tonight, armed protesters versus the feds in a dispute over private property.
I want the federal government to abide by the Constitution of the United States.
A levee proves no match for the mighty Mississippi. El Nino storms are about to hit the West. And getting fit, orange is the new way back.
It can be pretty powerful in improving people's risk factors for heart disease and diabetes.
This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.
We've learned tonight how President Obama intends to tighten gun sales without the approval of Congress. The president, frustrated by mass murders that seem to come every month, has decided in his last year to test the limits of his power. Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford has the breaking news from the White House. Jan?
Well, Scott, senior administration officials just moments ago outlined the executive actions the president will announce tomorrow, which he says will help keep guns out of the wrong hands. A major focus is what officials say are flaws and loopholes in the nation's system of background checks. Among the recommendations are requiring gun dealers, including those who sell firearms on the internet or at gun shows, to be licensed and conduct background checks for gun sales. Changing federal privacy rules to help keep people with mental health restrictions from possessing guns. Hiring more than 230 additional FBI employees to help process background checks. And a budget proposal for an additional 200 agents and investigators at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Now, after meeting this afternoon with his Attorney General Loretta Lynch, the president said he was confident these changes are consistent with the Second Amendment, that they're not an unconstitutional end run around Congress. But Scott, one thing is all but certain. These proposals and these executive actions are going to be challenged, whether in Congress or in court.
Just as the president's executive actions on immigration have been challenged in court. Jan Crawford at the White House tonight. Jan, thank you very much. The president's shot was heard everywhere on the campaign trail today, and with less than 4 weeks to the first voting, candidates are turning to their own big guns. Major Garrett is in New Hampshire tonight. Major?
Scott, Republican presidential candidates condemned the president's executive actions as overreach even before the details were known. Not surprisingly, President Obama received strong support from Democrat Hillary Clinton, who today deployed one of her most potent political weapons. Bill Clinton held his first solo campaign events of this election cycle, admitting the times feel a bit unsettling.
I don't fit anymore. First of all, I'm a happy grandfather, and I'm not mad at anybody.
Clinton was in New Hampshire, a state where his affections run deep. The former president's second-place finish here in 1992 paved the way to the nomination. Hillary Clinton's win in 2008 got her back into the race against Barack Obama. Unlike that campaign, when Bill Clinton acted as his wife's co-strategist and hyperactive endorser, today he brought a quieter pitch.
I do not believe in my lifetime anybody has run for this job at a moment of great importance who was better qualified by knowledge, experience, and temperament to do what needs to be done now to restore prosperity.
Clinton did not directly address Donald Trump's recent attempts to dredge up his 1990s sex scandals. Campaigning in Iowa, Hillary Clinton said she had a Trump-inspired New Year's resolution.
I'm going to let him live in his alternative reality, and I'm not going to respond.
Trump took on the Democratic frontrunner in his first television ad.
The politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism.
Those border images of migrants are not migrants crossing from Mexico into the United States, but crossing a border in Morocco. Scott, the Trump campaign said it used that video on purpose to show what would happen in America if illegal immigration is not stopped.
Major Garrett on the campaign. Thanks. Now with some insight into all of this, we will turn as always to John Dickerson, our CBS News political director and the anchor of Face the Nation. John, what do you make of that Trump ad?
Well, it's an ad about fear and walls. Fear of Mexicans crossing the border illegally. Trump started his campaign promising a wall to keep them out, and it's about fear of Islamic terrorists. Trump promises in this ad to keep them out by temporarily walling off Muslims from entering America. Republican voters rank these emotional issues as top concerns, and Trump on these issues has a decided advantage over his opponents.
With the Iowa caucus is February 1st, less than a month away. Where does the race stand now?
Well, on the Republican side, the race is a battle between Trump and everyone else. The alternative might be Ted Cruz, a grassroots favorite, or a candidate mainstream Republicans like, say someone like Marco Rubio or Chris Christie. On the Democratic side, Bernie Sanders is the grassroots champion, but unlike on the Republican side, establishment support is not split. There's just Hillary Clinton, who is the stable frontrunner. With less than a month to go before the voting starts, campaigns are at the point where every decision they make about travel, about resources, could have irrevocable consequences.
John Dickerson will be watching Sunday on Face the Nation. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Scott.
Tonight, law enforcement is not moving to retake a government building at a national wildlife refuge in Oregon. The building was seized 2 days ago by armed protesters, another flare-up in the generations-long showdown between ranchers and the largest landlord in the West, Uncle Sam. John Blackstone is there.
At the entrance to the wildlife refuge headquarters, Ammon Bundy declared this a fight he is determined to win.
And it has been left to us to decide whether we allow these things to go on or whether we make a stand so they will not happen to other people across this country.
The occupation began Saturday after a demonstration in support of local ranchers Dwight and Stephen Hammond. They were convicted for arson after a fire on their ranch spread onto federal land. They arrived at a prison in Southern California today to begin a 5-year sentence.
So you want the federal government to give up this wildlife refuge, give it back to ranchers? Is that the demand?
I want the federal government to abide by the Constitution of the United States.
Get out of here, you coward!
In 2014, Bundy's father, Cliven, battled government officials over grazing rights on federal land in Nevada. That escalated into an armed confrontation. So far in Oregon, there has been no confrontation. Not a single law enforcement officer to be seen for miles around the occupied refuge.
Here inside the compound, there's plenty of heavy equipment, but we don't see any evidence of heavy defenses or even weapons by the occupiers. And frankly, we don't see many occupiers.
While there is no evidence of broad local support for the occupation, in this wide-open country, independence is highly valued. Jennifer Cady grew up here.
The government's just getting so big that we're slowly being stripped of our freedoms, and people don't even see it. It's happening right under our nose.
The county sheriff did have a message for the occupiers here today, Scott. He said if they're really here to help the people of this county, it's time for them to go home.
John Blackstone reporting tonight. John, thank you. There's more extreme weather in the forecast with Arctic air blasting the northeast, rain and snow in the Midwest, in the West, I should say, and in the Midwest. The historic winter flood is rolling on. At least 25 people have been killed there. There's no peace in Olive Branch, Illinois, where we find David Begnaud tonight. David?
Scott, good evening. At least half of the town of Olive Branch, Illinois is underwater tonight. There are flooded homes like the one behind me for miles in areas that are known to be vulnerable to major flooding.
Here's the breach. See how massive it is now?
In Alexander County, Illinois, the flooding is disastrous and the temperature is near freezing.
This has gotten real bad in here.
Today, the U.S. Coast Guard flew us over the spot where the 18-mile Lynn Small levee failed about 72 hours ago.
This is where the levee breached, sending water from the Mississippi River into a floodplain. At least 100 structures are flooded. 14,000 acres of the county are underwater, and the water is rising.
This is the home of Brandon Dillow and Jennifer Corey. They built their levee 8 feet high, and tonight they're dry. They learned a lesson during a flood in 2011. Then the levee was 5 feet high, and water got inside the home.
Depressing. It just changes your whole life.
Many like them have been asked to evacuate, but refused. David Bigham's elderly parents got out, but he and his 5 siblings stayed behind to save the home that they were raised in.
You're worried about everything you got and everything you're going to lose.
From the air, you can see that the Bigham home is surrounded by water on 3 sides.
The Bighams have 25,000 sandbags and 8 water pumps working to keep the property dry, and so far, the water's holding.
Back near the levee breach, we spotted this herd of deer, victims of the unrelenting flood, running for an escape. We noticed tonight the water seems to have dropped about an inch in the last 6 hours, and that is great news for the Bigham family. Friends and family are working around the clock, dead set on saving this house that has been here since 1959. David. Scott, some of this floodwater could reach Memphis by Friday.
David, thank you very much. Ben Tracy is reporting that much of this crazy weather is being driven by the warming Pacific current known as El Nino.
El Nino has already hit California's mountains. The latest snowpack survey found 5 feet of snow in the Sierras, a welcome sight after 4 years of drought. Southern California is now bracing for a series of storms. Josh Rubenstein is a meteorologist at KCBS in Los Angeles.
And we're looking at about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain in the LA basin. And then right on its heels, here's that third system that's moving in on Wednesday, and the rain from that could linger all the way into Friday.
El Nino is an intense warming of the Pacific Ocean near the equator that changes weather patterns around the world. This is one of the largest on record. In Glendora, California, Eric Irby was stocking up on sandbags.
Flooding can happen anytime, anywhere. It depends on how much. So either way, I'll make sure I'm prepared.
Los Angeles is designed to prevent flooding, which is why the Los Angeles River here is encased in all of this concrete. And it may look like kind of a pathetic little stream tonight, but Scott, later this week, you could have 10 to 20 feet of water filling this channel.
Ben Tracy, thanks. Well, it was a wave of worry that swept world financial markets today after stocks in China plunged. The Dow was down as much as 467 points, but it recovered, ending with a loss of 276, or 1.6%. It is the worst start to a year since the Great Recession. The markets were also rattled by Saudi Arabia and Iran. The two are rivals because the Saudis represent the Sunni branch of Islam and Iran is home to the Shiite branch. Well, over the weekend, the Saudis executed a Shiite cleric. After a furious Iranian reaction, countries in the Gulf are choosing sides. Here's Holly Williams.
In Iran today, angry protesters denounced Saudi Arabia's execution of the Shiite Muslim cleric Nimr al-Nimr. His death has opened a 1,400-year-old wound, inflaming tensions between Sunni and Shiite Muslims. In the Sunni-led Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, al-Nimr dared to demand equality for Shiites and was shot and then arrested in 2012. It was in Shiite-dominated Iran that Saudi Arabia's embassy was ransacked and burned on Saturday. Around 40 people were later arrested, but Iran made its feelings clear by renaming the street in honor of the executed cleric. Saudi Arabia and Iran are already fighting 2 deadly proxy wars against each other in Syria and Yemen, taking sides along religious lines. Now there are fears that al-Nimr's execution will fuel even more violence in the Middle East. Shiite Muslims also clashed with police in Bahrain, who used tear gas and rubber bullets against the protesters. Blaming Iran for the escalation, Saudi Arabia has severed diplomatic ties with Tehran. Its ally Bahrain has followed suit, while the United Arab Emirates has recalled its ambassador. With many countries in the Middle East already torn apart by religious differences, these tensions could destabilise the region even more, especially, Scott, if Saudi Arabia and Iran try to use those religious divisions to further their own interests.
Holly Williams reporting for us tonight in Istanbul. Holly, thank you. Is man creating earthquakes in Oklahoma? And they've discovered the wreck of El Faro, the worst U.S. maritime disaster in 30 years. When the CBS Evening News continues.
When my doctor told me I have age-related macular degeneration, AMD, we came up with a plan to help reduce my risk of progression. And everywhere I look, I'm reminded to stick to my plan, including PreserVision AREDS 2. My doctor said PreserVision AREDS 2 has the exact nutrient formula that the National Eye Institute recommends to help reduce the risk of progression of moderate to advanced AMD after 15 years of clinical studies. PreserVision AREDS 2, because my eyes are everything.
Seems you've hit a roadblock.
That reminds me. Anyone have occasional constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating?
Yes.
One Phillips Colon Health probiotic cap each day helps defend against occasional digestive issues with 3 types of good bacteria. Live the regular life. Phillips.
You both have a perfect driving record.
Perfect.
No tickets, no accidents.
That is until one of you clips a food truck, ruining your perfect record.
Yeah.
Now, you would think your insurance company would cut you some slack, right?
No, your insurance rates go through the roof. Your perfect record doesn't get you anything.
Anything.
Perfect.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
What you doing?
Just prepping for my boss's party in a couple weeks.
What are those?
Crest white strips. They whiten way better than paste.
Crest 3D White Strips whiten 25 times better than a leading whitening toothpaste.
I'd say someone's making quite an impression.
Crest 3D White Strips, the way to whiten.
I smoked a lot and quit a lot, but ended up nowhere. Now I use this.
The Nicoderm CQ patch with unique extended release technology helps prevent the urge to smoke all day.
I want this time to be my last time. That's why I choose Nicoderm CQ.
Zantac heartburn alert! Stop! Nexium can take 24 hours to work. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. For relief without the wait, try Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
After a swarm of small earthquakes in Oklahoma, the state has ordered oil drillers today to reduce the amount of wastewater that they inject into the ground during a process known as fracking. Here's Mark Strassman.
Oklahoma, not California, is now America's earthquake capital.
Hi, who do you call if you feel an earthquake?
Until 2008, the state averaged 1 or 2 a year. Now it's almost 3 a day.
It was a big boom, and everything started shaking.
Including you.
Including me.
A 4.5 magnitude earthquake hit Crescent, Oklahoma last July. Grocery clerk Lois Gillette hugged a coworker.
I thought I was going to fall, and there was a lot of stuff fell off the shelves.
Oklahoma keeps breaking records for earthquakes with a magnitude of 3.0 or higher, more than 900 last year alone. But why? Most geologists connect the spike in earthquakes to the state's oil and gas industry and its disposal of massive amounts of water into underground caverns. Geologist Todd Hallahan teaches at Oklahoma State.
Unfortunately, we have a side effect that we're generating seismicity due to the injection wells. These are pretty startling when you feel them, and there's now a lot of people experiencing them on a pretty broad scale.
Lois Gillette isn't taking sides.
Well, I don't know if it's man-made. I don't have any idea.
You'd just like it to stop.
I want it to stop, please.
One geologist we talked to, Scott, said no question something has reactivated fault lines here, fault lines that had been dormant for 300 million years.
Mark Strassman, thanks. And we'll be right back.
These winners are happy they won. You could be happy next. It's the Publishers Clearinghouse $5,000 a week forever prize. Win and you get $5,000 a week for your life. Then after that, someone you choose gets $5,000 a week for their life. Leave a legacy for your family. Go to PCH.com right now and enter. February 26th, you could win $5,000 a week forever.
Happy, happy, happy. My opioid pain medication makes me feel stopped up.
That's called opioid-induced constipation, or OIC, a different kind of constipation.
Finding relief has been a real struggle.
Paint a different picture. Talk to your doctor about OIC and prescription treatment options.
Every auto insurance policy has a number. But not every insurance company understands the life behind it. Those who have served our nation have earned the very best service in return. USAA. We know what it means to serve. Get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Caring for someone with Alzheimer's means I am a lot of things. I am his sunshine. I am his advocate. So I asked about adding once daily Namenda XR to his current treatment for moderate to severe Alzheimer's. It works differently. When added to another Alzheimer's treatment, it may improve overall function and cognition and may slow the worsening of symptoms for a while.
Namenda XR doesn't change how the disease progresses. It shouldn't be taken by anyone allergic to memantine or who's had a bad reaction to Namenda XR or its ingredients. Before starting treatment, tell their doctor if they have or ever had a seizure disorder, difficulty passing urine, liver, kidney, or bladder problems, and about medications they're taking. Certain medications, changes in diet, or medical conditions may affect the amount of Namenda XR in the body and may increase side effects. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and dizziness.
He's always been my everything. Now I am giving back. Ask their doctor about once daily Namenda XR and learn about a free trial offer at NamendaXR.com.
Fact. When emergency room doctors choose an OTC pain reliever for their patient's muscle, back, and joint pain, the medicine in Advil is their #1 choice. Nothing is stronger on tough pain than Advil. Relief doesn't get any better than this.
One last time. All the hits, all the joy, all the memories. Don't miss Barry Manilow at Bridgestone Arena, Friday, February 12th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. All the hits. Manilow. One last time. For more info, see Manilow.com.
Today, the National Transportation Safety Board said that it may press for more evidence in the sinking of the American cargo ship El Faro, lost this past October in Hurricane Joaquin. All 33 crew were killed. Recently, on assignment with 60 Minutes, we sailed with the NTSB's investigator, Tom Roth-Rafi, as El Faro was discovered 15,000 feet under the Atlantic. This is where El Faro came to rest. Upright, hull largely intact. Her name mangled on the stern. Her depth markings reported that this, the bow, had sunk 15 feet into the mud. Her autopsy revealed a body that had been savagely beaten. Steel crushed, equipment collapsed. There was no sign of the 33 crew members. Equipment and cargo litter the seabed. That's a microwave oven. And on the right, that's a printer. Here is the top of a car with a sunroof, part of the cargo.
Now at the top of that white line there is the most surprising part of our video surveys. There's nothing above there.
What should be there?
There should be 2 decks above that. The lower navigation bridge deck and the bridge deck.
The 2 top decks had sheared off, including the bridge, where Captain Davidson would have been fighting the storm. They were nowhere near the ship. Also missing, the voyage data recorder, like a so-called black box on an airplane. The safety board says it may search again for that data recorder, which would have captured conversations on the bridge. Our final story coming up next.
Rolling Stone calls The Revenant spectacular in every sense of the word. It's a straight-up cinematic masterpiece. Leonardo DiCaprio delivers the performance of a lifetime. It's the best picture of the year. The Revenant, rated R, Friday.
Hi. Hey, you look good. Thank you. I feel good. It all starts with eating right. That's why I eat Amazing Prunes now. They're delicious and help keep my body in balance.
I love these Sunsweet Amazing Prunes, the feel-good fruit.
What's your dog food's first ingredient? Corn? Wheat? In Purina One True Instant Grain-Free, real chicken is always #1. No corn, wheat, or soy. Support your active dog's whole body health with Purina One.
Heartburn.
No one burns on my watch. Try Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Chews. They work fast and don't taste chalky.
Amazing. I have heartburn.
Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Chews. Enjoy the relief.
Happy anniversary dinner, darling.
Can this much love be cleaned by a little bit of Dawn Ultra? Oh yeah. One bottle has the grease cleaning power of 2 bottles of this bargain brand. A drop of Dawn and grease is gone.
Salonpas salutes you. People working hard to improve the world. You inspired us to improve these. Salonpas pain relieving patches. 20% larger with better adhesion and more medicine to fight pain than ever before. Salonpas, the patch you love, improved.
Amerivest selects the funds and manages your portfolio.
Is it run by robots?
No, you can talk to a person anytime.
Because I don't trust robots.
Right. Well, if the portfolio you're invested in doesn't perform well for 2 consecutive quarters, Amerivest will reimburse your advisory fees for those quarters.
I wasn't born yesterday.
Well, actually, looks like you were born yesterday. Happy belated birthday.
Thanks.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
IBSD. You know the symptoms when they start. Abdominal pain, urgent diarrhea. Now there's prescription Xifaxan. Xifaxan is a new IBSD treatment that helps relieve your diarrhea and abdominal pain symptoms. And Xifaxan works differently. It's a prescription antibiotic that acts mainly in the digestive tract.
Do not use Xifaxan if you have a history of sensitivity to rifaximin, rifamycin antibiotic agents, or any components of Xifaxan. Tell your doctor right away if your diarrhea worsens while taking Xifaxan, as this may be a sign of a serious or even fatal condition. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease or are taking other medications, because these may increase the amount of Xifaxan in your body. Tell your doctor if you are pregnant, plan on becoming pregnant, or are nursing. The most common side effects are nausea and an increase in liver enzymes.
If you think you have IBS with diarrhea, talk to your doctor about new Xifaxan.
Metro calls for a review of testing practices following a News Channel 5 investigation, and the Titans ownership calls for a review of the front office. The changes next.
The government says we need 75 minutes of vigorous exercise a week. Dr. John LaPook has one way to get it.
This would be considered vigorous.
Right.
Carol Ewing Garber teaches the science of exercise at Columbia's Teachers College.
How many calories per minute do you burn procrastinating? Because I'm really good at that.
I don't think you burn too many at all.
For those who get tired just thinking about strenuous exercise without rest, there's a fitness approach called high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. Short bursts of high-intensity exertion, say a minute or 2 of running as fast as you can, followed by short periods of recovery, maybe a slow jog for a few minutes.
So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to row for 100 meters. So that's a short row. It's going to be high intensity. I'm going to try to bring the power up.
HIIT is the mantra at Orange Theory Fitness, where Eddie Diaz is a coach.
This will be the recovery period here. Get those nice deep breaths in. And after you're done with your 10 seconds, you get back to work.
The HIIT regimen varies from place to place. Here, the goal is to work out in what they call the orange zone, at a high-intensity level for 12 to 20 minutes of an hour-long class.
I felt completely out of shape.
36-year-old Shelley Ramsamy has asthma and used to be afraid of vigorous exertion. She tolerated the interval training well, and last summer, she had added incentive.
I was just trying to get fit for a trip. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in a bikini. I have to get fit.
After building up slowly as exercise experts recommend, she now runs twice as fast as before. Research shows high-intensity training stimulates the muscles to burn fat and sugar more effectively.
Why is it hot now?
Well, I think because research has been showing that it can be pretty powerful in improving people's risk factors for heart disease and diabetes.
Powerful, too, in getting some people off the couch. Because at the end of the day, exercise works best if you actually do it. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
And we've got a run for all of us at CBS News all around the world. Good night.
Tonight, Metro School Board members call for a review of student testing practices uncovered by News Channel 5 Investigates.
You know, the allegations are serious.
Titans in turmoil. One day after the franchise finishes as the worst team in football, big changes are being made.
We're excited about getting the process kicked off.
3 dead horses lying in a field for weeks leads to the threat of an arrest for the property owner.
A violent crime prompted a manhunt for this suspect. News Channel 5 has exclusive details on the stunning ending.
news and information leader. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Hi, everyone. A murder victim found in Nashville, and it turns out he's the suspect in a massive